2-1 pitch. Breaking ball. Pena held it there, hopeful of the call from Brinkman. Didn't get it.
That's Tony Pena now shouting at Martinez, make him swing the bat. Make him swing the bat.
Well, it was obvious that he wanted to call a fastball. Martinez shook him off to get to the curveball, and that's why he's saying no, throw a fastball. Make him swing the bat.
Fastball, or was it?
Yes.
Yep. Sinking fastball.
Sinker. Well, that's exactly. There he is right there. You see Tony Pena. A catcher can tell you everything about this game and what's going on.
And especially basically, if they can read lips.
Yeah. And basically says, turn the ball loose. Let this guy hit.
Well, Lemke hit only 5 homers all year. And you got the dangerous guy, Chipper Jones, next. 2 outs. Come after him.
Yeah, I mean, you take your shot here with this guy. I mean, throw it right down the pipe if he hits it out of here. I mean, you got to give him a little bit of credit, too. Rather than walk him, as you suggested, Bob, with Jones coming up next. It's amazing, though, when you watch Glavine and Martinez, or any veteran pitcher for that matter, they just really hate to give in to any hitter in any situation. They hate to do it.
And he walks him with 2 out. He'll have to face Chipper Jones.
Even there, he did something different with the pitch. He threw in 2 sinking fastballs, and then he tried to ride the fastball up and away to strike him out. Wrong pitch.
That's Martinez's 5th walk. 1 was intentional. Poole again. Going to wear himself out just getting up and down in the pen. Ball 1 high and away to Jones, who singled to the opposite field and then grounded sharply to Baerga at second base. Slow roller right side. Baerga has to charge. Bare hands and makes no throw. Jones took a tumble as he crossed first, beating out the infield hit, but he's okay. Well, you've got 2 left-handed batters now, McGriff and Justice. He's had the lefty Poole up. That was Martinez's 81st pitch, so it's doubtful he would have gone more than another inning anyway, beyond the 6th. We're in the 5th now. So if Hargrove wants to make a move, there's some logic behind it, and he will. '40-year-old Dennis Martinez has thrown his last pitch of a fine season. And as Jim Poole comes in, we step aside for a moment.
Defensively, what happens here, see, he has a chance to get him, but what happens is he caught the ball in the palm of his hand. He didn't catch it in his fingers. Watch right here. He's got it in the palm, and if you throw the ball like that, a palm ball, you may throw it away. So he wisely does not throw it first, and you see Chipper Jones tripping over Eddie Murray's foot, and he goes tumbling. Let's take another look at it. See, he trips over his right foot, which was on the bag.
Chipper Jones was Martinez's last hitter. On comes the 29-year-old left-hander, Jim Poole, to face McGriff with Justice on deck. Now, the pitcher's spot is due second in the top of the 6th. It'll be interesting because if Poole should get McGriff to end the inning, there'd be 2 lefties, Justice and Klesko, in the next inning. So they might let Poole bat for himself in the top half of the 6th, if only to pitch to 2 batters in the bottom half. But this is the one he has to get. McGriff is struck out, then was robbed of a hit on a fine play by Baerga. Strike 1. One would have to guess that Joe Brinkman is not a hyperactive guy. He might be the most relaxed man in this ballpark, working home plate. The 0-1. He's ahead of him quickly.
Now this is the luxury that Hargrove has had throughout the year with the Ossenmachers and the Pools and Tavares and Plunk going left-hander, right-hander, left-hander, right-hander, depending on who it is you're facing. Ahead now to McGriff, 2 strikes.
On 3 pitches, he ends the threat. Hargrove's move pays off. No score after 5. Things at the start of a game in the World Series. Game 6 for the Royals, a series in which he pitched brilliantly with no victories to show for it. Game 6 at home against the Cardinals. That was the game with a controversy at first. Don Denkinger with a safe call on George Orta. Cardinals winning 1-0 as they went to the 9th. Royals rallying for 2 to tie the series, winning 11-0 the next night. Pena is the hitter. Tony was out on a comebacker his first time up. Two 2-0. Nope. I should have waited. Huh? Jim Poole on deck has spent his entire career in the American League. He was with the Orioles before the Indians. Other than spring training, he has never batted in a game that mattered.
And I'm not so sure he should bat in this game.
Well, Justice and Klesko, 2 left-handed hitters, start the bottom of the 6th for Atlanta.
Right. But the closer you get to the 9th inning in a tie ball game and you're down 3-2, the more the pressure swings on you.
Hits softly in the shallow center, and it drops in front of Grissom. He kicks it. Pena with a wide turn. Justice backing up. And that's the first hit. Now the question is, can Poole bunt?
Yeah, that's fine. I think you shouldn't hit, as it would still be my point. See, good job there by Justice of backing up the play, because Pena started for second, and you see Justice backs up Grissom and keeps Pena at first base.
Now, the interesting thing here too, Joe, is to watch Poole. I mean, he's up there left-handed against the left-hander Glavine, to see if he's going to keep himself in there, make himself stay in there to try and bunt a ball.
Chipper Jones just about close enough to shake his hand. He gets the bunt down foul.
Tell you what, he did a good job on that bunt. I mean, he really tried to kill it. You could see him pull the bat back and really try to kill the ball. Bunted it foul, but he stayed in there.
If you're the Braves in this situation, you let Chipper come way in, go ahead and throw the fastball away, because that's probably where he's going to end up bunting it, and you may end up with a double play. If you throw a good fastball away and he doesn't deaden it down the third base line, you've got a chance for a double play. So this pitch should be away. Just stay away.
He pops it back, and he's in an 0-2 hole.
Pena's got to be careful at first too. I mean, a bunt attempt and that guy behind the plate coming out firing. We've seen it happen before.
There's very little doubt that they keep the bunt on even with 2 strikes, because they can't have any confidence in Poole as a hitter.
Absolutely. I mean, he's staying in there pretty good, but he's fouled a couple.
He squares and he bunts it up in the air. It doesn't matter, but McGriff catches it anyway. He would have been out on the foul bunt with 2 strikes.
Well, the fastball is away and up, and he pops it up, and as you said, McGriff really should not even chase this ball, because there's not anything you can do. If you catch it and fall down, then the guy at first may be able to tag up and go to second, so just let it drop, and it's an automatic strikeout anyway.
Not a bad move at all, though, by Hargrove.
No, no.
Poole just couldn't get the bunt down. Now here's Lofton. Who was flied to Justice in fairly deep right center and grounded softly to first. Back to the mound. Glavine to Belliard. Can they get Lofton? No. Just about anybody else. And the inning's over.
Here it is one more time. Broken bat bouncer right back to Glavine. Belliard coming across the bag. And as you said, Bob, anybody else? Yes. Not Lofton. There again, Belliard coming across to take a nice throw from Glavine. And the Lofton beat it. And he'll run too anytime.
They've caught him once in this series. Javi Lopez back at the plate now. Cut him down in game 3. He's been successful 5 times.
Well, we'll see if Glavine uses a slide step to get the ball to home plate quicker and give Lopez a shot at Lofton if he does go.
Not going. Outside. Outside corner. You know, I've got to stop guessing with this guy Brinkman.
You can't do it. I mean, working behind this guy, you know, during the regular season and trying to do play-by-play, Bob, it just, I mean, you have to really hold off on him. I mean, most of the other umpires are pretty consistent. There are a few guys that do that, but yeah, if you had him mic'd, you'd feel a lot better. You'd know sooner.
I'm just going to ask him to fax the call up to the booth. Would arrive at about the same time. He goes, and they've got him picked off, but he may steal it anyway, and he does. There's speed, and then there's game-changing speed. There's intimidating speed. I remember Maury Wills doing that in the 1963 series for the Dodgers against the Yankees. That's the kind of play Ricky Henderson or Lou Brock might make.
Well, I don't think he would have picked Maury off. But in this case, he took a little too long to get the ball to first base. That was the problem. He gave him the slow, deliberate move, and he had him going, but Lofton kept going.
And it's 0-2 now to Vizquel.
Now watch how long it takes Glavine to get the ball to first base. See, that's that slow move, and he was off with the first movement. See, he's going all the way. No chance for McGriff really to get him at second base.
Now the 0-2. Didn't miss by much. Next time you see Maury Wills, I think it was Al Downing. It's either Downing or Ford. I think it was Downing who picked him off first base in a game at Yankee Stadium, and Maury just kept on going to second.
Yeah, I just know that Tom Glavine wouldn't have picked him off.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Glavine hasn't picked off anybody this year. So he's not going to pick Maury Wills off. I guarantee you that. Yeah, Glavine started tonight without having any pickoffs.
And Lopez out now for a couple of words with Glavine. Take a look at Justice and Wright. Joe playing rather deep for Vizquel here. Although we saw in that series in Cleveland, that ball he drove to the right field corner for a 3-base hit. Every once in a while, I mean, he can turn around on you, this time right-handed, to do it to the left field side. But Justice playing him rather deep in right with 2 outs here. And Lofton with great speed at second.
You know it's a tense spot when the cap comes off, the glasses come off for Bobby Cox. Lofton in scoring position. 2 down in the 6th. Scoreless game. And Vizquel hangs in. Glavine has fanned him both times tonight.
And you saw him try to take that ball to right field that time. Try to reach out and punch one to right. Really a great time. I mean, you're ahead in the count. You got a guy looking away like that, Joe, to bust him inside, breaking ball down low and in. So tough to check your swing.
He goes for third. And it's popped wide of first. McGriff is over. Lots of foul ground here. And he's got it. Lofton is certainly not bashful. Still no score.
A Steeler can help a hitter sometimes. Well, in this case, I think he hurt his hitter. With 2 strikes, Lofton running, it seemed to distract Vizquel, and his reactions after all this happened, he was very upset, and he looked at Lofton, then he went over and talked to Thome. You do not want to take your hitter's concentration away from the pitcher with 2 strikes. And Vizquel was very upset with Lofton on that play.
Poole back out to work to Justice. And a strike called as we move to the bottom of the 6th. The Indians managed their first hit of the game in the top half off Glavine. A soft single into right center by Tony Pena. He has been masterful, though, speaking of Glavine.
This is the Tom Glavine that I expected to see in the second game of, the third game of the series. But this is the real Tom Glavine today.
One pitch. A long drive to right. Ramirez turns to the track. She's gone. Dave Justice, all is forgiven in Atlanta.
Bob, it's okay to talk the talk if you can walk the walk.
Strike 1 to Klesko.
Well, they thought they had Justice really set up.
They did. Set up in the right field seats.
Bounced over the mound. Baerga on the run gets Klesko. Prior to tonight, Justice had not had an extra base hit in the entire postseason. Tonight he's walked, doubled, and now homered.
Well, they threw him a breaking ball away. They tried to come inside with a fastball. They tried to come inside with a fastball, and Justice was ready for it. They thought they had him set up by going away with a breaking ball and then trying to come back inside.
Well, he turned on that ball so awfully quick. Prime time, Justice? Or is it served?
Well, over in the other dugout, Mike Hargrove did a perfectly logical thing. He asked Poole to bunt. He couldn't do it. 2 dangerous left-handed hitters to begin the inning, Justice and Klesko. Poole had struck McGriff out on 3 pitches to end the 5th. It all made sense, but Justice turned Hargrove's logic to lament. Thome back of third across the diamond. Got him. Well, if this score holds up and it's only 1-0 and it's only the 6th, but Glavine has been very, very sharp, maybe tomorrow's headlines will involve Dave Justice in a much different way. Belliard now. And this is where Bobby Cox is very happy that he didn't get jittery and bat for Belliard earlier. Now he has the lead in a close game, and he has his best available defensive shortstop still in there.
Well, no matter what has taken place thus far, and the Braves have the lead now, it's been a great ball game. It really has. I mean, Martinez and Glavine and Poole here giving up the home run to Justice.
Martinez went 4 2/3, in trouble a bit, but didn't yield any runs. Thome can't get it. Belliard's aboard. If they want to be very nice to him, it's his first hit of the series, but they could give Thome an error.
That was a ball that Thome should have played easily. Never got the glove down. Here it is, easy bouncer hit by Belliard. That ball never came up on him, stayed down, and Thome didn't go down to get it. He never touches it, and I mean, they could call it a base hit by all rights. It should be an error, and it is. Should have been an easy play for Thome.
Glavine now. A strike to him. Justice has given him the lead in the bottom of the 6th. Justice with McGriff. Oh, 2. Belliard at first, and even if they get out of the inning with the score still 1-0, that error matters because you could have Glavine leading off in the 7th. Instead, you're going to have to face the true leadoff man, Grissom, even if they get Glavine here. Could make the 7th a much more difficult inning for Cleveland.
There are a lot of times in baseball when a guy will make an error and they get out of the inning, and we will say an error didn't hurt. The error didn't hurt him. But it always hurts because you give the other team an extra out. And anytime you give the other team an extra out, it will catch up with you over the course of the entire ball game.
Tapper foul.
And even the 5 walks issued by Martinez, Joe, I mean, it changes the order down to the end of the game. Every time you walk somebody and nobody scores, everybody that's a meaningless walk. Not so in a close game, as you said. Down the end of the ball game, all the batting orders change.
Yes.
Two and two.
You know, looking at Glavine here against the left-hander, he hangs in there pretty good. I mean, he's up there taking his hacks. Curveball's not backing him away. I mean, he's had good swings.
Well, he hit .222 for the year and had a home run. And he runs the count out full. Ken Hill, the Indians' 4th starter, the right-hander, throwing again in their bullpen. Might come on if Poole loses Glavine. And he's going to make him work for it.
Well, now it's kind of like batting practice for Glavine. He's sitting up there looking fastball. I mean, if he throws you a breaking ball, forget about it. He's looking fastball, you're up there hacking.
Murray playing behind Belliard, who takes off, and Glavine lines one, and Vizquel makes a leaping catch of the soft line drive. Good at bat for Glavine, but he goes down. Leadoff homer by Justice. 1-0.
Hi, I'm Gabriel.
Of this postseason, Vizquel lets you know, as if you needed convincing, why he'll win easily his 3rd straight Gold Glove. Now, watching the dugout, Justice is telling Klesko where the pitch was, and in truth, it really wasn't that high.
No.
Did you see Klesko pucker his lips and shake his head?
Ooh.
So he didn't throw that to me.
Yeah. Ooh.
Like to see that myself. There's Justice in right field. New left fielder Klesko, by the way, is out. And with the lead, as we move to the 7th, Devereaux comes in to play left field. Mike Devereaux, the surprise MVP of the league championship series against Cincinnati. Heart of the order in the top half of the 7th. Baerga, Bell, and Murray. Just a 1-0 lead, but another 1 on that line score. The 1 hit for the Indians through 6 makes it look big. 0-2. Broken bat, foul ball.
Well, he had thrown 2 fastballs away, 0-2. Now watch this. He comes inside, and he just shatters the bat of Carlos Baerga. That is what you call good pitching. Now he keeps Baerga from leaning back out over the plate, because there's nothing that a hitter hates more than to have his bat broken in his hand on the handle.
You see so many guys, Joe, now. I mean, most of the bats that players use today, very thin handles and very top heavy, big barrels and a very thin handle. I mean, anything that's not hit on the meat part of the bat pops easily.
And you can see that handle is very thin there. And they use thin handles because in their mind they can whip it through the hitting zone quicker.
One and 2. Glavine trying to win his 2nd game of this World Series. Put the final piece in place for the team of the 90s. Chipper Jones has it. 1 out in the 7th. This 1995 World Series game is brought to you by Gillette Sensor XL and the Gillette Series. Gillette, the best a man can get. Texaco Clean System 3 gasolines, and Chevrolet, the cars and trucks 36 million people depend on every day. Genuine Chevrolet. Bell has walked twice. Called strike 1.
Joe, this is where you're starting to get down to the nitty-gritty part of the game. You got a 1-0 lead, and you know, with fans and everybody else here is all uptight. The guys who are most relaxed are the guys on the field.
You're right.
That includes the players in the dugout. They're uptight too.
Oh, 2 to Bell.
I know you've been there many times, and you want the ball hit to you. You want it in these situations. Albert Bell, after swinging and missing, down low and away, he chased one.
Strikeout number 8 for Glavine. Drop another one down.
He threw him 2 different changeups. The strike 2 was a changeup that sunk down and away, and this one just stays on the same plane. Look at that. It looks like a fastball. Nothing can happen with bad if you're Glavine on this pitch. Look at that pitch right off the plate outside, and it just stays on the same plane. It looks like a fastball. Bell has to hurry up to get to it.
Murray. Ball 1. 2 out, nobody on in the 7th.
Look at a shot of the home plate umpire, Joe Brinkman. Look how far he is behind Lopez. I mean, he's about 4 feet behind Lopez. I don't know why.
Well, especially since the ball should be called where it crosses the plate, not where it's caught.
This will be a good angle. Look how far back he is. Look how far back he is from the catcher.
3-0. Have you, as a former catcher, ever seen a plate ump work that far back?
I was going to say, Bob, for more often than not, that home plate umpire is working right over your left shoulder, depending on the hitter. Right-handed batter, left-handed batter, he's on one or your other shoulders. But this, I don't know why he's that far back. I really don't.
Got to be careful with this 3-0 pitch. And he walks it. Third walk yielded by Glavine. Bell twice, and now Murray.
Where he is, and we've been talking about his deliberate calls with the arm. I mean, where he's now sitting on Lopez or kneeling on Lopez, even his strike call, Lopez might have a tough time hearing it. Man, that's a long way. I don't think I've ever seen that. I don't know why.
I know I haven't.
Murray down at first was picked off in the first inning of Game 5 by Charlie O'Brien. The guy at the plate, Ramirez, was picked off in the 8th inning of Game 2 by tonight's catcher, Javi Lopez. Murray well aware of that. Very little chance it could happen again.
I don't think there's any doubt in my mind, at least, that he pitched around Eddie Murray there to get to Ramirez. But the problem is, when you start to walk and pitch around guys this late in the ball game, it means you're going to get Albert Bell one more at bat. Whereas if he would have retired everyone, Albert Bell would not have batted again in this ball game.
1-1 to Ramirez. He didn't like it.
Now Ramirez just asked Brinkman, or told Brinkman, that pitch was outside, and Joe shook his head no. Strike.
That, by the way, was Glavine's 100th pitch. 2 outs in the 7th. In the air to right center field. Grissom calls. Only 2 more turns at bat left for the Indians. If you're just tuning in, those numbers will tell you how effective Tom Glavine has been. 2 of the 3 walks were virtually intentional as he pitched around Albert Bell, and he was being careful on the 3rd one to Eddie Murray too. But he has only the slimmest of margins to work with. A leadoff homer by David Justice, a no-doubter, as he took the lefty Jim Poole deep in the 6th, is the only run of this game. Ken Hill out of the bullpen.
This is a tough job for Ken Hill, to come in at this point of the ball game and know that you cannot afford to make any mistakes.
One and 1 to Grissom. He's 0 for 3. This might be his last chance to keep his postseason hitting streak alive. It stands at 13 now. Hill was the starter and loser against Steve Avery in Game 4 of this World Series, although he didn't pitch that badly.
No, he really didn't. He's a hard thrower, throws in the middle to high 90s.
Out of play.
Again, as Joe said, coming on here in the 7th inning, and I mean it's all on the line for the Indians tonight. I mean, it's a 1-game series for them. That's it.
And see, the point is, you're already down 1-0. If you make any mistakes and they score only 1 run, this ball game's going to be pretty much over. So, tough job.
In on his fist, hits softly into left for a hit. Which accomplishes 3 things. Most important, he's aboard with a potential insurance run in the 7th. Secondly, the postseason hitting streak is at 14. And thirdly, it's his 25th postseason hit, breaking the record he had shared with Marty Barrett of the 1986 Red Sox. They could be double switching here with the pitcher's spot due third. Ruben Amaro Jr. comes in. Ramirez, who made the last out, and the top of the seventh goes out. That's Alan Emery, a left-hander, coming out of the bullpen. So Hill got the pitch to exactly one batter. They want Lemke to bat right-handed rather than left. Same thing of Chipper Jones and then McGriff and Justice, two lefties if the inning kept on going, following Lemke and Jones. We'll be right back. From Pompano Beach, Florida, the 30th World Series Goodyear blimps have helped to televise. The pilot, Dr. Jim Maloney. Glavine is working on a masterpiece for the Braves. This is the fourth pitcher now for Hargrove. Started with Martinez, went to Poole and to Hill for a batter, and now to Embry.
Well, and the Braves with a base hit by Grissom. Now Embry on. But in going back to our little pregame meeting with Bobby Cox, Joe, and he said that every chance they get tonight, every chance they get, they're going to run, they're going to try and hit and run, they're going to try to put heat on the Indians all night long. And I mean, even if it means running up the score, if they get to that point, he says, we're going to run, we're going to try to do it all.
And that's one of the other reasons that he brings Embry in this situation, a left-handed pitcher, to force the Braves to bunt Marquise Grissom into scoring position rather than trying a hit and run or letting him steal. He's trying to make sure that he gets an out in this situation.
So on the double switch, Amaro, the new right fielder, will bat ninth and hit third in the eighth. And the pitcher spot becomes the number 6 slot in the order. Embry, who throws very hard. Lemke bunts it. Embry grabs it. Baerga covers. Successful sacrifice.
Good job there by Lemke. When you get to this stage of the ball game and you have to execute, the teams that execute best are the ones that end up winning the ball game. And this is good execution here by Lemke. You want the runner, insurance runner in the scoring position. He does the job by getting him over there.
And they're going to walk Chipper Jones intentionally. What a sign of respect this is, and I don't care about lefty-lefty. The guy in the on-deck circle is one of the most feared late-inning big-game hitters in recent baseball history, and the rookie, Chipper Jones, is going to get a walk. Now, granted, it sets up the double play situation with one out. It sets up the lefty-lefty percentage, but it's still a sign of respect.
I think there's no doubt in my mind it's a real sign of respect, because Chipper Jones has swung the bat well in this series and also in the divisional series and the LCS. So this is a sign of respect for Chipper Jones. It's not any disrespect for Freddie McGriff.
No, not at all. I mean, it's strategy-wise here. I mean, and even when you look at it from McGriff's point of view, it's a heck of a challenge.
Right.
It's a challenge now for him against the left-hander Embry to hang in there and try to rip one and get the Braves another one, or two maybe.
Hargrove had this whole sequence figured out with the double switch in case Grissom had reached against Hill, with the possibility of the intentional walk to Jones with the two lefties coming up if Lemke was successful sacrificing, which he was, bringing in Embry when he did.
But I tell you what, Bobby Cox is not upset with this situation either.
Embry to McGriff. In the air to left. Back goes Bell. Bell going away back, and Albert Bell makes the catch. The runners scamper back. Not a play you can always count on Albert Bell to make. But in the 6th game of the World Series, he did.
Well, he's been shaky from time to time, and we've seen it. Look at him here, racing back. He gets to the warning track, and a nice grab on a ball that was really hit by McGriff. That's a heck of a play by Albert Belle. It really is. He takes his rips for his fielding and throwing, and everybody talks about his hitting. That's a heck of a play right there. The heat on.
Justice has walked, doubled, and homered for the game's only run. Fastball, ball one.
Tell you what, Manny Ramirez in right field is creeping in very tight. I'm sorry.
Amaro.
I know. Yeah, let me.
There goes Grissom for third. Pena throws from his knees, and he steals it. Chipper Jones did not move up behind him. So it's runners at the corners with 2 out.
And that's not a bad play by Chipper just to stay there, because he also opens up the hole on the right side now for Justice, because Murray will hold him on. I didn't think this was a good play for Pena to try to throw from his knees when there was no chance to get Grissom.
Yeah, he saw him all the way, Joe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's looking right down there.
Well, if it's actually then to the Braves' advantage for Murray to hold Jones, why doesn't Murray play behind him?
Well, I think he's getting ready to do that.
He's asking now for the Indian dugout.
That's what he's asking about. See, Eddie understands. That's what he just shook his hand and said, why am I going to hold him on? Yeah, he said, yeah, let me get behind him. Yep. You're exactly right, Bob. See, that was to the Braves' advantage if Murray holds him on, because he gives Justice that hole on the right side. But now you see Murray, being the veteran that he is, he called in and asked, let me get behind him, and they said, okay. But what I wanted to make the point of is Amaro kept creeping in when Justice was hitting. I mean, he was playing very shallow.
This is a 2-0 pitch. It's 3-0, and on deck now is Devereaux, a right-handed batter who has replaced Klesko for defense and left, and now in the 6th spot in the order. If Justice walks to load the bases and Devereaux comes up, it's pretty certain Eric Plunk is coming out of the bullpen. He swings on the 3-0 and fouls it back. This is the MCI proof positive replay of the game, at least to this point. And we take care of the business, just like Justice took care of business off Jim Poole in the 6th. Jones bolts for second. Pena will not throw. He steals it standing up. But now it's not a steal, because that was ball 4, which you can never be certain of. I don't mean to sound like we're making excuses, but with Joe Brinkman, the call is such a delayed call. Pena himself hopped up, considering the throw. It's ball 4, so Jones simply moves up on the walk.
Now, you do it sometimes as a catcher, Bob, because you think in your own mind that it's a strike. And there are borderline pitches that umpires call strikes. Some they don't. You in your own mind think the pitch may be good, and you come out as if to make a throw just in case. In this case, it's ball 4.
It's not Hargrove to the mound. It's Mark Wiley, the pitching coach. And it looks like they're going to stick with Embry, because if they bring Plunk in, then Devereaux would be pulled back, and their best pinch hitter, Dwight Smith, would come up. Smith is a good fastball hitter, and that's what Plunk would be bringing if he came into the game.
And the other point is Plunk has problems throwing strikes.
Yep.
So coming in with the bases loaded is not the ideal situation for him.
A strike to Devereaux. The last World Series Grand Slam was by an Atlanta Brave in their Game 5 win at Toronto in '92. Devereaux pops it up. Looks like they'll leave the bases loaded. Baerga squeezes it. Glavine still has but 1 run to work with. On to the 8th after this. Glavine and company still have 6 very big outs to get. And because they have stranded 11 runners, they have only a 1-0 lead on the Justice home run. But if they should accomplish this, they would become the first franchise in baseball history to win world championships in 3 different cities, all the way back to 1914 for a world championship by the Boston Braves, in '57 the Milwaukee Braves, and perhaps in '95 the Atlanta Braves.
You know, you talked earlier, Bob, about the '57 and '58 Braves losing to the Yankees. New York coming from behind in '58. A lot of people thought they should have won 3 or 4 years down the road.
Thome on the first pitch here in the 8th sends a long drive into left center field, and Grissom runs it down on the warning track.
This is a big out for Glavine, simply because Thome could be the last power hitter that they'll have to face in this ball game. And he hits a fly ball in the left center field. He almost got it out of here. Grissom, of course, very good center fielder. He runs it down and makes the catch in left center field.
They need one more man to reach base in this inning or the next to give Albert Bell another crack at it. Pena has the only hit. Until that last shot off Thome's bat, the hardest hit ball against Glavine was probably his first hitter, Lofton, who sent Justice to the edge of the track in right center to lead off the game. Wohler's the closer. Bourbon, who was very effective his last stint out of the bullpen, the left-hander. Down and away, 2-0. For a strike, 2-1.
You know, you talk, Joe, about getting Bell up there, a guy who can hit with power. Definitely, every once in a while, this guy, Tony Pena, is going to look for a pitch, something inside. If he gets something inside, he'll drive it.
Well, he hit 5 in the regular season, and then won Game 1 of the division series against his old Red Sox teammates with a surprise shot into the left center field seats on a 3-0 pitch at Jacobs Field. Nagy hoping they get to hand him the ball in Game 7 tomorrow night against Smoltz, if it goes that far. Two and two.
You know, you talk about Pena trying to juice one out of here. Then you got Glavine on the other side saying there's no way. Change of pace that time, out of way, and you see Pena with that big swing.
They've got the 9th K ready. But instead it's lifted into shallow right. Justice comes in near the line. 2 out in the 8th. Well, there's a Saturday Night Live alum. Great comic actor Bill Murray alongside Ted Turner in the Braves box. And tonight, at 11:30 Eastern, or a half hour after we leave the air, whichever the case may be, another edition of Saturday Night Live with host Gabriel Byrne. Ruben Amaro Jr., son of the former Phillies and Yankees shortstop, switch hitter, former Philly himself. Ball 1.
See Lopez trying to coax that ball towards the outside corner. Well, watching this guy catch an O'Brien, too. I mean, they set up so nice. Easy target. They never move once they put the target up, and especially with Glavine tonight.
McGriff. Glavine covers. A one-hitter through 8. An inning away from the end of a 5-year quest for the Atlanta Braves. The countdown has started at Fulton County Stadium, but they'll have to face the top of the order in the top of the 9th, and that means Lofton to start it. And if he gets on, they don't necessarily have to hit Glavine hard to tie this game.
And somewhere Yogi Berra is saying, it's never over till it's over.
Now, you know, we were talking earlier show about the guys who are not nervous in this game. I mean, here's Glavine. Looks like he's pretty well relaxed. 1-0 lead.
There are your two heroes.
Yep.
Right there. If it ends this way, Justice and Glavine. The low hit game of Glavine's career, by the way, is a 2-hitter. Taveras has come out of the bullpen. The rookie right-hander who has really been a workhorse for Mike Hargrove. The 5th pitcher he's used tonight in a 1-0 game. He won 10 out of the pen in the regular season, most relief victories in the majors. Lopez to face him in the bottom of the 8th.
You know, Bob, we've talked so much about Glavine tonight, what a great job he's done, and he really has done a great job. But I think you got to give a lot of credit to this Indian staff too. I mean, they've given up the 1 run, and that was the home run by Justice. And take nothing away from this Indian club, fans. Everybody talks about their hitting. They've got an outstanding pitching staff too.
A ball and a strike. Martinez started, left in the 5th. Not the pitcher of record. Glavine is the 3rd hitter in this inning. He's thrown 109 pitches. Wohlers is warming up, even with a 1-hitter. Do you say, well, Wohlers is the guy who's closed out our big victories? We'll go to him again?
Well, I think that's what Bobby Cox has done all year long, and I think that's the way Hargrove has worked with Jose Mesa. That's your guy. And, you know, it was maybe a 2-0, 3-0. That's a little different.
When you Bobby Cox and you haven't won a world championship, you've lost in 7 games, you've lost before, you get in a situation where you can win. You want a fresh, hard throwing pitcher out there. He has the luxury of now that he's never had before, and that luxury is having someone like Wohlers in the bullpen. In the past, he has never been able to close out the 9th inning because he never had a closer. Now they have a closer. So I'm in his corner. I think you need to use him. That's what you got him for. That's what you have your closers for in this situation.
1-2 pitch. And he fouls it again.
Now, it's been such a great game, and I mean, you can't ask for any more out of Glavine than what he's given you here tonight. And as you said, Joe, he told us before the game, he said Wohlers is ready. When you asked him, is he tight, is he hurting, he said no, he's ready to pitch.
Right.
Lopez 0 for 2 with a walk tonight. Pena for a look. Back in the seats.
It would be very easy to second-guess Bobby Cox if Wohlers comes in and does not hold it. But I know Bobby Cox feels like if he would have had a closer in his previous 2 world championships in the World Series, he may have won one of those 2. So he'd really feel badly if he did not use Wohlers in this situation.
Remember, he had to use Charlie Leibrandt, a starter in relief. Kirby Puckett homered off him in Game 6 in '91. Winfield doubled home the game winner here in '92 off Leibrandt. Alejandro Pena was good, but not quite great for him. He tried other guys. Now he has Wohlers. If this score holds up, it'll be 5 of 6 games in this World Series decided by a run. Another one in the seats as Lopez battles Taveras.
Now, with the exception, as you said, Bob, of Game 4, the Braves won by a score of 5-2. I mean, this has been a great World Series. It really has. I've enjoyed every game and the excitement and everything that goes with it.
Still not much, if anything, wrong with the game.
Nope.
Business of baseball, the business of baseball, that's a different thing.
You're right.
Terrific at-bat for Lopez.
Well, I like this kid. You know, the more you see him and watch him swing, Joe, and the way he stands in there, and the way he's receiving the ball, and in talking with the coaching staff about him, they say this kid's going to be a good one. He is now, getting better.
It runs out full. Tough pitch coming for Tavares. He doesn't want to walk him because then you let Belliard sacrifice and you make it more meaningful should they bat for Glavine. On the other hand, you make it too fat, and Lopez has already shown what he can do in this World Series.
Well, you got to take that chance. You got to come right after him.
In the air to left. Bell goes back. Bell to the track. Almost at the fence to squeeze it.
Well, he didn't challenge him. He threw him a breaking ball, and Lopez almost got it out of here. Let's take a look at this pitch. This is a breaking ball. You see it break right there. He went down and got it, and he thought he got it. He throws his hands up like, I've got it. I got another one right there.
Whoa. Hold it, Javi. Wait a minute, baby.
Caramba.
Arriba. No ribby.
Belliard.
I'll tell you what, he had a heck of a cut at a 3-2 breaking ball.
Yes,
I'll tell you that. He almost looked like he was looking breaking ball. He had a heck of a cut. Heavy air, he just said.
The 0-1 to Raffy. Even though Blauser had an off year, he presents something of a threat at the plate. So they lost a lot of offense at shortstop when he went down, but certainly no defense.
No, they gained a little bit defensively because Blauser was hurting. He had the bad knee earlier, and so they really gained something. And anytime you replace your shortstop, you want to replace him with a defensive replacement, because that's the job of a shortstop, is to play defense. And there you see Blauser in the dugout.
Luis Polonia has come out of that dugout. He's in the on-deck circle, so they will pull Glavine after 8. He gave only one hit to the Indians, a very soft single into right center by Tony Pena. Belliard hits this one right on the nose, and Bell comes in to backhand it just above his shoe tops. Albert Bell with a good night in left field.
Well, Belliard finally hits one hard. Actually, he's hit 2 balls hard tonight, and Bell comes in and makes a fine backhanded catch. He hit a ground ball up the middle sharply that became a double play. Now he hits this one hard, and he just says, I just can't buy a hit in this World Series. Nice play there by Bell.
Well, now Assenmacher is going to come in with Polonia being sent up as the pinch hitter.
And I think Hargrove has Cox exactly where he wants him. I don't think Cox wants to pinch hit here and use up another player, because it's still only a 1-0 ball game.
Hargrove will use a half-dozen pitchers in a 1-0 game. And why not? It's game 6 of the World Series. We'll be right back. Paul Assenmacher, former Atlanta Brave. He's been with a number of clubs. The Indian left-hander, their 6th pitcher. He's come on now, and he'll face Polonia, who will bat for Glavine. Trying to keep it a tidy 1-0 ball game, and then in the top of the 9th, it'll be Wohlers out of the bullpen, facing Kenny Lofton, Omar Vizquel, Carlos Baerga, and if anybody gets on, Albert Bell.
Now, this is not over by any means. Tom Glavine, a beautiful effort tonight. See Wohlers next. The Indians have their shot yet in the 9th. And Polonia stepping in now.
And the reason I said he didn't want to use another player is in case the Indians tie this and you go into extra innings, you cannot use up all your players early in the ballgame. That's why Bobby Cox is leaving Polonia in to hit.
Thinking about a drag bunt, taking strike one. Polonia with a surprise home run off Hershiser in Game 5 at Cleveland. Only his 4th homer in the last 4 seasons. His first as a Brave. Oh, 0-2. Check swing foul.
You know, I don't think anybody in this ballpark cares about another run here in this inning. They want the 9th. They want the 9th.
Well, that guy cares about another one. He'd like to see him get one more. He'd feel a little safer.
How important was it for Thome to give them a 3-run edge, speaking of Cleveland, in the 8th in Game 5? Mesa yielded the 2-run homer to Klesko. Sit down, Luis.
Normally you don't get something like that after a check swing on a curveball. I think this is a fastball just got away from Asemacher. I really don't believe he's trying to move this guy back. The previous pitch was a check swing on a curveball.
It's one of those times where Louis glad he's only about 5'9". Stands 6'2", and he gets bonked on the dome.
Well, if he throws him a breaking ball now, we know that's what he meant to do.
He makes quick work of Luis Polonia. And the stage is set for the 9th. Underline if the Braves win it here, it'll be especially sweet for people like Tom Glavine, David Justice, Mark Lemke, Steve Avery, Kent Merker, John Smoltz, Rafael Belliard, Jeff Blauser, Wohlers, the man on the mound now, Bobby Cox, the pitching coach Leo Mazzoni, because they were all here for the near misses in 91 and in 92, and in the LCS against the Phillies in 93. Three outs away from the one thing they haven't achieved in half a decade, and a strike to Kenny Lofton.
This is the key hitter of the inning because he cannot stop Lofton from stealing a base if he happens to get on. So he needs to get Lofton out.
1-1. That's not just because of Lofton's speed, but because Wohlers' motion makes him easy to run on, even for a lesser base stealer than Lofton.
Yeah, he's almost the same as he is out of the windup, Joe. He's got that slow leg kick and delivery from the stretch.
The 1-1. Down and in. Thousands of people here trying to record almost any moment in this ninth inning for posterity. We see the flashbulbs popping all around the park as each pitch is delivered from Wohlers to Lofton. Just a few now, but as the pitch comes, there will be more. Blooper and foul ground. Belliard racing over. Backhanded grab. That's why the batting average doesn't matter so much. That's why Cox wants him in the ninth. This, folks, does not presume that it ends here, but it's business that must be taken care of. This 1995 World Series game brought to you by the makers of Advil. Buick and your local dealers. Remember Buick, the new symbol for quality in America. And Network MCI, how to get modern communications technology working for your business.
Well, again, for all of those who wondered why he didn't pinch hit with him for him early in the ball game, this is why. He is their defensive specialist. He's the guy that he knows can make the plays under pressure. And that's why Bobby Cox said, I always hate to take Rafael Belliard out of the ball game for a pinch hitter. And look at those numbers. 1 error in each of the last 3 seasons. That tells you how good he is defensively.
He booted his first chance in this series. Kenny Lofton leading off game 1 against Greg Maddux. But since then, he's sparkled. Mike Hargrove can't afford to leave his shortstop in. He'll send up Sorrento, a 25 home run man, hopeful that Wohlers makes a mistake and Sorrento can tie it. Sorrento had a pinch hit double off Wohlers in game 4. Baerga next. High.
You know, in watching Wohlers here, Joe, to the last couple of hitters, he did it on Lofton.
Yes.
And he starts Sorrento off with a breaking ball. I know this guy's got power, and he can probably hit you deep the other way, too, talking about to left. But, I mean, with a guy like Wohlers, who we've said throws in that triple-digit area, I mean, to start a guy out bang-bang with a strike instead of the breaking ball, I'm a little surprised.
Well, remember, in this situation, you should always go with your best pitch.
And his best pitch is not a fastball.
Somebody's got to reach for Bell to have 1 more at-bat at least in this season. 1 out, nobody on, and the 1-0 pitch.
I mean, he's got a great splitter, too. Fastball, curve, and a splitter, or slider and a splitter. But to establish yourself or get ahead on that guy is so awfully important. It's only a 1-0 game.
The 1-1. Threw him the splitter and gets ahead 1-2.
That was it. And a good one it was. Bottom fell out of that baby. Here it is one more time. You can see it. Splitter down. Sorrento chases.
Center field. Grissom. Lots of room. 1 out away. The most feared offense in baseball all year long. Held to 1 hit through 8 2/3 by Glavine and Wohlers. Held to a team batting average under 200 now in this World Series. Maybe. Baerga is 0 for 3. Left center field. Grissom on the run. The team of the 90s has its world championship. Look at Nagy, still filling out the pitching chart. But now there is no tomorrow. Over the full season, there's little doubt the Cleveland Indians were the best team in baseball in 1995. But for a week in October, the edge belonged to the Atlanta Braves. They have been baseball's best team over the last 5 years. And finally, the one missing piece is in place. What a golden season it was for the people in that dugout and in the visiting clubhouse tonight in Atlanta. But all the joy for now is on the home side. Still, there's no overlooking what the Cleveland Indians did, not just in terms of performance, but in the spirit of that whole city. They're part of the renaissance of the city of Cleveland. With their new ballpark, with their contending team, with the way that town feels about them, and with the pieces in place, every reason to expect they've got a good chance to be back. But tonight belongs to the Atlanta Braves.
Well, it's sad when you look at players on a losing club. It always boils down to one game. I mean, the final game. And on the loser's side, as you look at Tavares, who did such a great job for the Indians this year, it's down to this game. Sitting alongside Carlos Baerga, but as Joe well knows, and fans, you can take into consideration what they've done here tonight and how they've responded. This win belongs to the players for the immediate moment, Joe, in the clubhouse.
That's exactly right. I think that says it all right there, finally.
Finally.
And I think that's what the Cleveland Indians, the way they have to look at this. Very rarely does a team go out and win in their first attempt in the World Series. And let's face it, the Braves, this is their third time in before they've been able to win. And I think the Cleveland Indians, it may take them another time at least before they feel the joy of victory in the World Series.
And David Justice, who earlier had chided the fans here for not being enthusiastic and passionate enough, how ironic that he would deliver the home run in the 6th inning, the only run of the game, and now he and his teammates are awash in this celebration, which sounds pretty loud to me. They were ready tonight. 52,000 plus in Atlanta, and millions more all around the Southeast, and in fact all around the country, because the Braves have many fans in far-flung places because they're on a superstation. They, like the Cubs, have a national following. Well, here's the story. We have plenty of time to visit both locker rooms, and we'll do that as we return to the 1995 World Series after this from your local stations. Hannah Storm is in the Atlanta Braves clubhouse. Let's head down there. Hannah?
Bob, it is a celebration befitting a team that has waited 30 years in this city, and the last 5 years perhaps the longest. Team owner Ted Turner here. Ted, you owned this team when it was one of the worst in baseball.
That's right.
And you know, perhaps more than many others, just how tough it is to get this World Series win. How gratifying is this?
Very difficult.
How gratifying is this experience?
Very much so.
Ted, a man of few words, and since he's so direct, we're going to get right to the point. We have Acting Commissioner Bud Selig here, National League President Leonard Coleman to present the World Series trophy.
Ted, on behalf of all the major league clubs, I want to present to you the Commissioner's Trophy. You guys have built a great organization. On behalf of everybody, to you and to Bill Bartholomew, Stan Kasten, Bobby Cox, John Churros, everybody, congratulations, guys. You have a magnificent season, and you deserve it.
Okay, thank you a lot. Thank you a lot, Mr. Commissioner. I just want to say we love baseball a lot, and we worked hard, and we deserve it. And we're going to enjoy it.
As well you should. Bobby Cox, why don't you come over here? Bobby.
Somebody grab the trolley.
Bobby, another easy win for you, pal.
No, never easy, but this is really for Ted and the fans. It's, you know, they stuck by this organization, this franchise a long time, and we've been close before, but we finally got it. And it's tribute to ownership, really.
Bobby, what was the difference this time? You came so close before, and all of the teams that you had very talented.
We could have won them all. We could have lost tonight. Sometimes it's just a flip of the coin. We could have scored 4 or 5 runs tonight more, and we didn't. You know, we didn't have much luck. But Dave Justice got the big hit. Tommy, you know, was just outstanding.
Okay, and we'll hear more from Tom Glavine in a moment. But Bobby, we got a phone call for you. The nation's most famous sports fan, perhaps, I believe we have on the line. Mr. President?
Mr. President. Hello?
Yes, this is Mr. Turner.
This is Bobby Cox. Can't hear very well.
We're having a little bit of trouble with our connection, and we will get back to the President. Okay, Bobby?
He's saying 1 moment.
Okay, he's saying 1 moment. So we'll wait on that. We have a lot of other business to take care of. You mentioned the game that Tom Glavine pitched, and with you stranding all the base runners, he was forced to pitch an almost perfect game.
Well, he did pitch a perfect game. The only hit they got was a blooper by Pena in right center. And Tommy was completely exhausted after 8 innings. He couldn't go another hitter or another pitch. And, you know, a guy throwing that great, you want him to go back out there, but he just couldn't. It's been a long year, and appropriately so, Mark Wohlers closed it. Started and did it.
Can you describe your emotions after the losses, the near misses of the last few years?
Well, it's something you can't get back. You really want to win bad, and our players from the day one of spring training wanted to win this thing. That was their goal, and they finally achieved it.
What did this series come down to in the end? Was it the best pitching staff in baseball against the best hitters?
Definitely pitching. Tommy Glavine and Maddox, Avery, Smoltz had a little bit of a rough game, but they all proved that. We shut down a great hitting team. We shut down Cincinnati. Just as good as hitting team as this, could outrun them.
How much pressure was this on their team? Everyone expected you to be here, and sometimes that's the tougher position to be in.
That's okay. You know, if they keep expecting us to be here, that means we're pretty darn good. So we'll take that.
Bobby Cox, congratulations.
Thanks so much. It's great. Thank you.
Okay, and at this point, we will come over here and speak with Dave Justice, the lone man, to get a run in this game. And Dave, what an incredible day for you as you wake up, see the headlines in the paper that Justice rips the Atlanta fans, and then you lead this team to its first ever World Series victory.
Yeah, but first thing I want to say is I really appreciate how our fans really showed our team a lot of support tonight. It was something we really needed, and they were the biggest factor tonight. They were the ones that kept us going, and I just want to thank them all for all the support tonight.
Tell us about the home run. We saw you talking to Ryan Klesko in the dugout, and you said, hey, it was this high. Pitch wasn't quite that high. Tell us about it.
Well, it was a situation where I wasn't going to swing at any curveballs because I saw he hadn't thrown really Freddie any curveballs that would have been called strikes. So I was looking for a fastball into 2 strikes, and he got one inside, and I just stayed on it nicely, and when I hit it, I knew I got it.
Dave, you have been through the 2 World Series losses with this team. Can you put into context what you and the others who have been here for the last few years, what this must mean to you?
Yes, I can. This is a dream come true. We've worked so hard since 1991 to get to this point. We came up short twice, and it is such a great feeling. I mean, it's everything that we dreamed of. It's everything that we worked so hard for, and I just feel so good for our team, our organization, and it's just a wonderful feeling.
This team knew that a 3-2 lead was no sure thing after playing the Twins in '91 when you went to the Metrodome and lost the last 2 games of the series. Was there, because of that experience, an extra sense of urgency tonight not to take this to a 7th game?
Well, I'll tell you what, I was really nervous coming into today simply because I've been in this situation before where we were up 3-2 and only to lose. So it was a really nerve-wracking day for me. I'm telling you, I don't know how I made it through today. I'm serious. I've never felt so much pressure in my life as I felt today, but it all turned out great.
I know that you're a believer in fate. Right. This team is talented, as were the 2 teams that lost the World Series. Is fate the only difference? Was it your time to win, or were the teams different?
You know, I really think it was our time to win. Too many things happened in our favor this year that I really had a good feeling that this is our time. I didn't know if it was going to be tonight or tomorrow night, but I really felt like it was our time. We had put in enough work, we had suffered enough, and it was time for our city and for our ball club and for this organization to get one.
Okay, congratulations, David Justice. And now for a word from the Cleveland locker room, we go to Jim Gray.
All right, thank you, Hannah. Mike Hargrove joins us. Mike, what can you say about Tom Glavine?
Well, you know, what can you say about their whole pitching staff? They have very good pitching as they exhibited in this series, and you know, when you pitch like that, you should win.
What did you tell your team? You met for about 10 minutes here behind closed doors.
Just told them that you know, they played well and that they're champions. Maybe not the champions of what we wanted to be, but they're American League champions. I think that we represented our peers in the American League with a lot of dignity, and we played hard, and that they should feel good about that, and that it starts again in about 3.5 months.
Is there anything that you would do differently over the course of these games? You finished with 5 one-run games. You can't get much closer, but is there anything you'd like to have over and do differently?
Maybe the only thing that I would do differently is pitch out first pitch to Belliard. All my instincts said to pitch out, and I talked myself out of it. But you know, that didn't get us beat. You know, they pitched well, and they got the hits when they needed them, and we didn't. I mean, pure and simple, we pitched well enough to win. I thought that our guys pitched very well tonight, and really throughout this series, it just didn't work for us, and those things happen in this game. That's why it's a contest.
And how would you describe the group inside? Is this being taken as a tough loss or a learning experience, a little bit of both?
Yeah, I think any time that you get into this situation, that you know, I mean, if you've got anything inside you at all, it's a tough loss. But they also feel good about who they are and what they've done this year, and the prospects of maybe getting back here sometime. Nobody ever guarantees that. You know, we've got to go out and dedicate ourselves, to use all the cliches, and get ready to do it again, and at least we'll have a say in that. We've got the talent to do it again. Hopefully we can, but we'll find that out later.
Finally, Mike, to the fans back home. They waited a long time for a World Series. You come up short, but you have something to say to them?
Well, the fans are what makes this whole thing special. The fans here in Atlanta were fired up tonight. It was good to see that. It really was, because it was a little subdued, I thought, the first 2 games in here, and I was very surprised at that being that the way it was. But our fans in Cleveland are tremendous fans. You know, they can hoot with the best of them. They're good people. They get excited, and they really helped this ball club do what it did.
Mike, you're a class act. You've had a great year. We appreciate you coming out.
Well, it's been fun. We'll do it again, hopefully.
All right, we look forward to it. Let's go back across the way to Hannah Storm.
Jim, Mike Hargrove had the best hitting team in baseball, but they were no match for the Atlanta Braves pitching staff. And fittingly, the man who won Game 2 and Game 6 will be presented the MVP trophy by Jeff Hurlburt of Chevrolet. Jeff?
Tom, on behalf of Chevrolet and Chevrolet dealers across the country, we're very proud to present you the Chevrolet World Series Most Valuable Player Trophy. And in addition, we're pleased to donate to the Special Olympics in your name a 1996 Astrovan. Congratulations on a fantastic series.
Thank you very much, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Tommy, we were just standing here while Jim was talking to Mike Hargrove. You had a little bit of tear in your eye, and you said you can hardly believe this has happened.
Well, I can't. I mean, this has been a long time coming. You know, this organization and these group of guys have worked so hard to get here, and we've come up short. And that bitterness of losing these World Series games is real fresh in everybody's mouth. And this was a battle. This was no easy thing. The Indians played great, and we knew coming in here it was going to be a tough series. But everybody in here did what we needed him to do, and if I could cut this thing up into 25 pieces, everybody in here deserves it, because it took a total team effort for us to win this thing.
The Braves had some clutch hitting in this series, but not tonight. They stranded a lot of base runners, and you had to pitch almost a perfect game.
Well, it's frustrating, I guess, as a pitcher, because when you see opportunities go by, you kind of wonder if you can keep doing what you're doing, number one, and if that's going to be the difference in the game. But you know, I just tried to go out there and go as long as I could, and you know, it's funny because I told somebody yesterday a perfect scenario would be for me to get the win, David to get a big hit, and Wohlers to get the save, and it couldn't have worked out any better.
Happy ending for you, Tom Glavine. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, let's send it back up to Bob Costas now.
And a great sense of closure for the Atlanta Braves, not just winning it, but the way they won it, with Glavine on the mound. He struck out 8 tonight. He's been with them through all the near misses. In fact, with them longer continuously than any member of their present roster. And he's the MVP and the winning pitcher of Game 6. We told you there were 8. Count them. That was the last one from Albert Bell. And all the offense, it turned out, that Glavine and Wohlers, who worked the ninth, needed this home run by David Justice. It turns out, from the perspective of Brave fans, justice prevails, literally and figuratively. They had several cracks at it. Finally, they've won it all. Back for more in a minute.
I'm sorry they made you hold so long, but that wasn't me. I wouldn't have had the commercial break then. Did you watch the game?
Oh, I sure did. I watched it all.
Well, that's great. We wish you were here.
Wonderful game.
Well, thank you, sir.
Wonderful World Series.
Well, thanks a lot. It was, you know, the boys did real great. Well, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Ted. Good luck.
All right, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Okay, thanks for calling, Mr. President, and we will talk to you at the Super Bowl. Goodbye.
And meanwhile, we are going to send it over to Jim Gray.
Thank you, Hannah. I'm with Kenny Lofton. It's a distraught, as you can expect, Cleveland locker room. Kenny, the pitching for the Atlanta Braves was just sensational. What about Tom Glavine tonight? Was he the entire difference?
Yeah, he was. He pitched a good game, and we just didn't go out there and do our jobs, and they won the game.
Seems as though you had better success in the second game against Tom Glavine, game 2. This, the second time, didn't seem as though you guys were able to get on track like you were with Maddox.
It's just one of those things that happen. You just can't get on track with a certain guy, and it just didn't work out.
You guys had an awfully terrific season. You won 100 games, and you expected to win this thing, didn't you?
Yeah, we did. We had the attitude to go out there and win it, and we just, at first we had a couple bumpy roads, and, they had the home field advantage, and the first 2 games were very important, and they had the home field advantage, and they took advantage of it. Can you begin to describe the disappointment? You ever felt anything like this before? No, I haven't. It hasn't really sunk in yet, but it's going to sink in pretty soon.
Kenny, it's awful good of you to come out. We appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, man.
Let's go back across the way to the Braves locker room and Hannah Storm.
Jim, the best hitting team in baseball, the Cleveland Indians, hit a paltry 179 against the Braves pitching staff in this series, and here are 2 of the reasons. Greg Maddux and closer Mark Wohlers, congratulations to both of you.
Thank you.
Greg, you managed to completely shut down an incredible hitting team.
Well, we had great scouting reports. Our coaches really took care of us this year. They gave us some great advice, and when you do that and make your pitches, sometimes it looks a little bit easier than it is.
You were not here for 2 of the World Series losses, and yet you were such an integral part of allowing this team to get back to the World Series.
Well, I'm just glad to be a part of it. We got a lot of great players on this team, and it was a total team effort. Everybody clutched up. I mean, there's not one guy I can think about that didn't help us get here, and it's just a great team effort.
Can you comment on Tom Glavine's performance tonight?
He was outstanding. Best game ever, best game I ever seen him pitch, and probably the great timing. I tell you what, I'm glad he's my teammate. I really am.
Is there a sense that you wish that you could have done it on Thursday night? There has to be.
Well, I think you always want to win, the first chance you get, but I think it's great for Tom. I think he really went through a lot. Especially early in the season, and he came up through the organization. I think it's great that he did what he did for this city.
And I know what you're referring to is the fact that he was the Braves player representative. He took a lot of heat during the strike negotiations. He was booed here early on. You're one of his best friends. How did that affect him, and how gratifying do you think this win is for him now?
Well, one thing about Glav is he's got a big heart. He really does. He
there you go, Squiggy.
Okay, guys.
He's got a huge heart.
Right.
And he showed it tonight. I'm real happy for him. I really am.
Okay, thanks. Let's get Mark Wohlers in here, because, Mark, a big difference between the 2 teams who lost in the World Series and now is that they do have a dominant closer in you. How special is it for you to know what a huge role you played in this team's World Series success?
It's just not myself. We've had 5 guys pitching in front of me all year that have given me the opportunity to do what I do. And if you're pitching out of the bullpen, unless you have an S by your name, you really don't get the recognition. But this bullpen came up big for the whole series. With the Atlanta Braves can win a world championship with our current bullpen.
And how difficult was it for you at the end of the game tonight, knowing what was at stake? How did you put that out of your mind?
Well, you just try to concentrate. Maddux gave me advice early in the year how to just concentrate on each pitch and worry about each pitch, and that, that's the only thing you really can worry about. So I just try to focus on each pitch and really not worry about the result. If the ball leaves my hand, I really have no control.
All right, congratulations, Mark. Let's get to the champagne dumpers over there. Well, at least a couple of these guys were there back in '91, Mark Lemke and Steve Avery. Can you describe what this means to the franchise, what your emotions are at this point?
Right now, this is the most incredible thing I've ever felt in my life. All us guys, we came a long way together. we've been through some tough times in this organization, but we pulled together and we finally accomplished a dream and a goal of ours that we set a long time ago.
And Steve Avery, you struggled this season, but you got a chance to pitch, and you pitched so well in the World Series. How gratifying was that?
I mean, it's great. I mean, this is the time of year that everyone wants to go out and do well for not only themselves but their teammates. And you know, I'm just so happy for Tommy and the way he pitched tonight. You know, for all these guys standing up here, I almost kissed Lemke. I was so happy, and then someone sprayed me with champagne and woke me up.
Is that the lipstick on your neck of Mark Lemke? Okay, well, we won't we won't give that away. And finally, Fred, you've been such a huge part of this team and a huge element in the World Series, a huge element in the playoffs, getting them to the World Series.
Oh, yes, it's great to see these guys. I mean, they've been taking a lot of heat for the Buffalo Bills and little stuff like that, and to see them all get us over the hump, no greater feeling.
How do you think the team will remember this, history will remember this team, which accomplished so much in the 90s and yet could not win it all? Will they be remembered differently now that they have?
Oh, yes. Now that it won a World Series and so forth, they'll be considered one of the great teams. You got to win that World Series to get over the hump.
Was there a sense among the players that you had to have this victory to validate your success in the 90s?
Not really. I mean, nobody gives the Blue Jays and the Twins credit for beating the Braves in 91-92. You got to give them some credit. This is a great ball club. I mean, they came a little short in the past, but now, forget it.
How difficult was it for you guys playing this season, and then as the playoffs began to advance further into the playoffs, as you get closer and closer to that elusive World Series, knowing that people expected you to win, was there pressure?
Oh, every night when we go out and play, the pressure's there. Every year they're picking the Braves to win it all, and so every night you're going out there knowing that you got to do it, and they got an extra round of playoffs this year. We got to open up in Colorado. It was tough, and then we're playing the Reds. The Reds did everything they could to try to knock us out. And then we got to play the Indians, who won 100 games this year.
What was the difference in the series finally?
Mark Wohlers was the whole difference in the year. The first part of the year, we didn't really have a closer. We're struggling playing under 500 ball. Wohlers steps in as a closer, and ever since then, we've been on a roll.
Okay, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
It'll be a nice fall for the Atlanta Braves. Let's send it back up now to Bob Costas.
Hannah, thanks a lot. Nice duty under duress in the locker room. Tom Glavine, one of the heroes tonight. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Tom Roy. The coordinating producer of the Baseball Network, John J. Filippelli. Coordinating producer and producer of the World Series for NBC Sports, John Gonzalez. The World Series was directed by Andy Rosenberg. Vice President of Operations for the Baseball Network, Ed Delaney. Producer for the Baseball Network, Lance Garrett. Pre-game producer, Sam Flood. Replay producers, Steve Lawrence. Associate producers, Woody Fryman and Jeff Kibler. Editorial consultant, Peter Pasquarelli. Director of Information, Steve Hurt. Production associates, Carlos De Molina and Chris Pfeiffer. Technical director, Phil Doucette. Coordinating production manager, Russ Gabay. Production managers, Bill Cantor, Steve Hearns, Bill Melanson, and Suzanne Turner. And a mention of our audio man, Mario Sperandio. He and his wife Linda found out today they're expecting their first child. Well, 5 of the 6 games in this World Series decided by a single run. And I think something should be said, Uke, about Mike Hargrove and the Cleveland Indians. Hargrove, in talking with Jim Gray, showed again his personal class.
Well, he really did, and along with Kenny Lofton, who came out and talked with Jim, it's no place to be. I mean, for those of us who have been fortunate enough, Bob, to be on a World's Champion, nobody will ever know the thrill until you've been there. And I don't even think these players are going to realize what's happened maybe until tomorrow. And over the winter, when you think back about the World Series and what great games these were. But you know, the greatest part of this whole thing is going to come next year, right here in Atlanta's Fulton County Stadium, when the championship rings are awarded. When each one of these guys on this ball club grabs himself a ring that says World's Champions with your name, your number, and whatever else is on there, that's the greatest feeling in the world. I know he's been there too.
You know, Joe, the Atlanta Braves can be the first to tell the Cleveland Indians that sometimes you've got to go to the brink and fall just short before you get there. Trite as it may sound, nothing to be ashamed of. Disappointed now, hurt now, yes. But what a glorious season for the Indians.
Well, I think the Cleveland Indians really showed me something, and that is that they almost matched the Atlanta Braves pitching staff. But when you match up against the Braves, usually you lose if your pitching staff is against theirs. And I have to say, as far as I'm concerned, the Atlanta Braves, as good as they were during the regular season, their pitching staff raised themselves another notch. When I saw how they destroyed the Cincinnati Reds, who were a good hitting ball club, I really felt like the Cleveland Indians were going to have a problem with it as well. But to Cleveland's credit, their pitching staff with Earl Hershiser, Martinez, and the like, they almost matched the Atlanta Braves. This was a great World Series, and I'm happy that I was a part of it.
Both these teams are deep enough, have enough resources within their organizations that they have every expectation that the second half of the 90s will be good to them as well.
Oh, absolutely, Bob. I mean, as Joe said, I mean, to watch the fans in Cleveland, the thrill of a World Series finally. And let me say something to you. It's been great working with you.
Thanks for the ride, pal.
And Joe, you too, buddy.
Good to work with you.
Enjoyed it.
A strange and, in a sense, scarred baseball season ends in glory. There were great moments in the postseason for these two guys, for the folks at ABC, too. Good night.